Hey everyone, this is Laura Gadenik with Laura Gadenik Astrology, and I'm here to give you the astrology for the week of January 4th through the 10th, 2021. So, there is a lot happening this week. It's pretty big. In fact, the whole month of January is really busy astrologically and therefore also in the world and in your life. Although I do want to start off by saying not all transits will be felt personally by you because the cosmos isn't about you and your chart isn't actually all about you either. So, wherever these transits are happening in your chart, depending on if they're hitting personal points or planets in your chart, it might be personal or specific to you. But it could also be reflective of something going on in a friend's life or a partner's life or a sibling or your kids. So these transits aren't always reflective of things happening to you. It really depends on where it's happening in your chart. And also, some of these transits might be reflective of kind of what's just happening in the world at large. So it's more, it just depends on how it's hitting in your chart, and, where it's hitting in your chart. So I just wanted to start off by saying that, because there's a lot of really intense astrology coming up this month, this week a little bit as well. And so I just don't want you to be nervous or scared necessarily because it might not necessarily pertain to you. Although I do think that these transits show up um, in our lives sometimes in just very subtle ways. And it's all about looking for the archetype, looking for the energy and like how it's showing up, basically. So, Monday the 4th, we have Mercury conjoining Pluto in Capricorn. So, Mercury is finishing up its time in Capricorn, about to head into Aquarius. Pluto is a planet about gold, it's about um, minerals and things that are beneath the earth. So there's this quality of needing to dig for them, of needing to excavate, go on an excavator or something like that. Mercury, of course, is the planet of the mind. So this is a day, this is today, of possible deep psychological insight. Definitely a great day for journaling, for reflecting, for going to therapy. This is a day to do research, to get to the bottom of something, to figure something out, to learn about something in depth. This might be a day where you might be even a little bit mentally obsessive about figuring something out. So be mindful of the fixation or the obsessive thinking. Um, but ultimately, it's a really good day to have a really deep, honest conversation with someone, um, and really get to the bottom of what's ailing, possibly like in a relationship or you know um, just with yourself. Um, you could be a bit suspicious or untrusting of other people. Pluto is the modern ruler of Scorpio, which can be associated with distrust. So watch out for that. Um, and there is the possibility of getting into a really intense conversation with someone where there might be um, a desire to overpower or to be right, or maybe you're experiencing that from someone else. So, but ultimately, use the energy to get to the bottom of something that you've been wanting to figure out, and definitely use the energy to dig into your own psyche. So that's Monday the 4th. Tuesday is pretty chill. There's not too much happening. The moon's in Libra. Relationships are the mood of the day, making sure, balancing things out with other people, checking in. It's kind of it's a chill day. Wednesday the 6th, we have Mars moving into the sign of Taurus. So this is huge because Mars has been in Aries for the past 6 months. Aries is a sign that Mars rules. So part of Mars's time here has been very constructive and helpful. Although it's been a tough time for Mars because while Mars has been in Aries, he's been coming into squares, which are really harsh, intense, challenging aspects to the planets Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto. And so, in some sense, it's kind of a sigh of relief to have Mars finally move on to another sign. But it's kind of like Mars is getting into a little bit more trouble in Taurus because Taurus is a sign that Mars doesn't like being in. Mars is a planet about action, about initiative, about getting things going. It can be rather impulsive, and Mars, in its inherent nature, wants to be quick. And Taurus is a sign of being slow and steady and thorough, and it's a sign about endurance. It's a sign about quality over quantity, which is kind of the opposite of Mars. Mars is more about quantity and more about being fast and being first. So Mars is frustrated in Taurus. So this might feel frustrating for us in turn. So Mars is our energy, it's how we take action. Um, so this might be a time period for the next 6 weeks while Mars is in Taurus where our energy must become enduring and withstanding. It might be a time of needing to sustain something that's really hard or frustrating to sustain. But it's kind of all about just sticking with it and pulling through and being consistent. Um, So, yeah, like I said before, Taurus is about quality over quantity. So this is a time of needing to really chip away at something slowly and thoroughly, and really thinking about quality rather than quantity. Um, Taurus energy is focused on embodiment and pleasures of the senses. So this might be a time where you're more focused on your body, maybe getting a massage, maybe doing some body work. Um, maybe getting your nails done, or some beauty makeover. Taurus is a sign about beauty, so this could be a time where you make some alterations in your physical appearance. But back to Mars and Taurus being kind of a bit more challenging. It's also because almost immediately Mars is coming into a square with Saturn, which happens next week, but kind of I'm just going to give you a little preview of like what's coming up with Mars and Taurus. So Mars is going to square Saturn for the third time. The previous two times have been in when Mars was in Aries and when Saturn was in Capricorn. So this is the third and final time. This time Mars is in Taurus and Saturn is in Aquarius. And that's always a feeling of being stopped in your tracks or being halted in some way, your efforts being um, frustrated or stopped, maybe being told no. I'll get more into that next week, but it's frustrating. It's not fun. And then later in the month, I believe on January 20th, Mars is going to come into conjunction with Uranus, the god of explosions and earthquakes and revolution, upheaval. So it's going to be really intense. And this is kind of the energy of the year is Uranus square Saturn. And so whenever Mars comes into the picture, it's kind of like a time bomb. It's kind of going to be moments where the energy is going to be very intense, either in your life personally or in the world at large, possibly both, depending once again on your personal birth chart. So let's see, with that said, okay, so, and Mars is also going to square Mercury later in the week, and I'll get there. Basically, we have a ton of planets moving into the sign of Aquarius. And so with Mars in Taurus and Uranus in Taurus, there's going to be a lot of squares happening over the next month. January is kind of a really intense, crazy month. So there's going to be conflict, there's going to be power struggles, there's going to be upsets. But we'll get there. So Friday the 8th, Mercury moves into Aquarius. And this is where Mercury retrogrades later in the month of January. So Mercury is going to be in Aquarius for quite a long time. So I highly recommend knowing where Aquarius is in your personal birth chart, because if you know what house that's highlighting, then you're going to know what topics are going to be brought up, where there might be miscommunication or unraveling, or Mercury retrograde is about poor timing. So there might be, wherever Aquarius is in your birth chart, there might be something about poor timing happening coming up in January and February when Mercury's retrograde there. Yeah, so this, wherever Aquarius is in your chart, this might be where things may not work the first time if you have plans, um, or where you may have to backtrack later. So just a side note. But Mercury is our mind and how we think and communicate, exchange ideas. And so our mind and focus is here in Aquarius. And Aquarius is a sign about the group. It's a sign about the collective at large. So Mercury is very communal oriented, very community oriented, um, rather than the focus being on you or me as an individual. That's Leo. Mercury's attention is on everyone as a group. So that's kind of where our mentality is for the next 6 weeks, maybe even 2 months. I can't remember when Mercury leaves Aquarius, but this is also a time of having more unusual or out of the box ideas. Um, Aquarius is a fixed sign, and it's associated with kind of radical ideas or high-minded thinking, high thinking. It's very scientific and objective and logical, but also very lofty. So you might have some really out of the box, new, original, but also very idealistic and far-reaching ideas and ideals that you might be trying to aspire towards over the next couple of weeks. Okay, so that's Friday. We also have Venus moving into Capricorn on Friday. So Venus, a planet about love and beauty and relationships. Our hearts are turning more serious. Capricorn is a sign about being serious about something. Capricorn is a sign about time and age, and this knowledge and understanding that things become more lovely, more enduring, more beautiful, more pleasurable with time. It's kind of like an old wine. A wine gets only better with time and age. So similarly, Venus, Venusian things, there's this um, energy of kind of looking to the long haul with regards to pleasures and relationships. Is this working? Is this um, something that I want to keep working towards for the long run? Will my actions right now bring pleasure to me in 2 years, or in 5 years, or in 10 years? Capricorn is, like I said, a serious sign. It's very earnest and serious about affection. So in turn, you may kind of have that feeling towards other people, or maybe towards a significant other, of it just feeling more serious. Like you want to make plans together. Like you want to um, uh, maybe make things a bit more serious if you are in a relationship. Capricorn is also pretty controlled and is very responsible. Has this desire to work first before pleasure and play. So while Venus is in Capricorn, you may just have to, you know, work. Work might be more of a focus during the next couple of weeks while Venus is here. Work before play. And there's also more of a responsible tone to pleasures and love as well. Thinking about consequences, Capricorn is very aware of consequences and costs. So it's very cautious about spending money, about having fun. So there's more of a careful quality um, to having fun. A good example of Venus in Capricorn, if Venus is pleasures and fun and how we enjoy things, Capricorn, like I said, likes to be cautious, likes to plan ahead, likes to think about sustainability. Capricorn is the sign of the goat, which is, always climbing a mountain. So a perfect example of Venus in Capricorn is going on a backpacking trip. It's like type 2 fun. It's fun that like a lot of people would think is not fun at all. It's the type of fun that's like, oh, that sounds so hard and planny, and a lot of people don't like backpacking. But I'm just thinking of my sister. She has Venus in Capricorn, and she's always been the one that's like, let's go on a backpacking trip. And she's always been the one to be very concerned about planning for it, making sure we know exactly how many miles we're going each day, making sure we have all the food. So backpacking trip, that's a really good example of Venus and Capricorn because it's like doing something that's really hard that requires caution and planning and hard work, physical labor, um, for fun, basically. So I thought that was a good example. Okay, so Friday's a big day, big energy because we still have Mercury square Mars. Mercury is our minds, communication, etc., like I already said. Mars is how we fight, it's our energy, it's our action. And Mars can be a bit impulsive and a bit quick tempered. It's our anger. So this might be a day where you have a quick tongue, where you might accidentally blurt something out that you weren't meaning to. You know, maybe you blurt out what you really think about someone or something or a situation. So be very mindful about the potential for verbal conflict, irritation, bickering. It could be that you finally have a conversation with someone that you've been needing to have all along, that you've been kind of sweeping under the rug, and it's like finally time to just say it. Um, and it could be very beneficial for the soft spoken. If you're the type of person that doesn't really speak up for yourself, then, it could be good for you. Um, this is happening in fixed signs in Taurus and Aquarius. So if you do end up getting into an argument, there's high potential of you both thinking that you're right. Fixed signs have this tendency to like not budge, um, and to be very fixated on a particular idea. So try to be a bit more flexible and see the other person's perspective. It's always a good practice. Okay, so finally, Saturday on the 9th, we have some lovely redemptive energy with Venus trining Mars. So we have the goddess of love and beauty and relationships making a very supportive and flowing, harmonious aspect to Mars, god of war, god of our energy and initiative and our will. Mars is a planet about what we want as well. Mars always works for you. So this is really beautiful energy. Basically, this is a day and also, a week of having the confidence to go after what you want, what you desire, while also still being charming and pleasant. And with the Mercury square Mars aspect, while there is that tension still there with maybe saying things that you don't really want to say out loud. Um, this Venus trine Mars can really help soften that energy and can bring some tact. Venus always wants to keep the peace. So there may be even like a third party involved if you do get into some sort of conflict, that a third party that's kind of a mediator or that is able to help both people see two sides of a situation. So basically, there's just kind of this planetary help of smoothing things over. Um, Venus trine Mars can indicate an assertiveness in love, pleasures, sex. There's a really strong creative drive, not necessarily with art, but just in general, bringing about something that didn't exist before. And if you think about that, everything in this world was a thought before it came into being, before it manifested, before we made it possible, before we made it be something. So this is the type of energy where there's a strong creative drive to create something that wasn't there before. So definitely take advantage of it. We also have on the same day Mercury conjoining Saturn in Aquarius. So this could be a day also of having a challenging mental task. Saturn is a heavy planet. There's kind of a heaviness or weightiness or a serious tone to things. So you might have heavier or more serious responsibilities around mercurial things. So things maybe like writing, learning. I mean, I know for me, I'm starting a new class um, next week actually, and I'm still in the process of writing horoscopes for my mentor for 2021. I know it's already 2021, so I'm late. So for me, I'm like, oh, this is going to be a weighty day of me probably writing a lot and feeling kind of the pressure, got to get this done. Um, Mercury conjunct Saturn can be very slow and careful in thinking, in planning. There could be an element of perfectionism, here. So try to be soft with yourself, practice compassion for yourself. Um, don't Saturn and Aquarius can have really high expectations and really high ideals for perfection, basically. So, practice compassion with yourself and others. And while you may have a challenging mental task ahead or have a lot to do or plan or anything mercurial involving communication, try to take it easy. We do also have Venus trine Mars, so that's kind of a good day also to do something fun that does require hard work. I could see Venus trine Mars also be like, let's go on a hike, or let's go do something physical or active that's also very fun. So try not to let the Mercury conjunct Saturn kind of take over the day, because we do have Venus trine Mars. So it is a good day to work on something creative, to do something active that's also fun, to go after something that you want. So, um, you know, and make sure that you are reaching out to other people, that maybe you are engaging with other people, um, being social in some way. I know that we're still in it's COVID and we're still kind of in quarantine. But if you have the ability to, I definitely say to make sure you're social in some way on Saturday, because Mercury conjunct Saturn can be a bit lonely feeling or depressive, or kind of like you're stuck in your head or you're alone with your thoughts. So it's this very interesting energy because Venus is trining Mars, so which suggests being a bit more social. So it's about kind of balancing these energies out, making sure you have time to do those hard, heavy mental tasks that you probably have to get done, while also creating time for pleasure and enjoyment and physical activity, for your creativity. So it's just kind of a balance, and that's always the case with astrology and just in general. Astrology is, obviously very helpful in knowing what energies are ahead, whether for you, for like I said, for other people in your life, or in the world at large. And it's always good to take it with a grain of salt, and take what's useful and kind of use this information to plan, to plan your week or your day or whatever. It's kind of like knowing the weather. If you know that it's going to rain, that's helpful information, that's useful, so that you know to bring an umbrella, right? So same with astrology, it's kind of like the weather of the cosmos, or energy weather, so to speak. And it's good to know what's coming up, and always to balance the various energies. So that's it for the week. Kind of a big week. I'd love to know how it goes for you. And if you have any questions, please use the comment box. And I'll be back next week with another update. All right. Have a good week. Bye.